clear and a great presentation for us, and it'll be well worth your time. And first and foremost, I want to thank TQL, especially Joe and her team, Devin, Pete. Thank you guys so much for making this possible, because without you, it would not be. My name is Michelle Lewis. I am the Vice President of Membership of TV Toastmasters. We are a local Toastmaster club that meets over in Anderson at the Anderson Community Television Studio off of 5 Mile Road. So for some of you who don't know anything about Toastmasters, we are a learn-by-doing organization that focuses on communication and leadership skills. We always welcome guests to our club meetings. So we meet the first Thursday of the month and the third Saturday of the month. So please, if you are interested in finding out more about it, talk to Rick, to Jeff. We have a couple of our members here. If you guys would just identify yourselves, the ladies out there. Jazz, who is also an employee of TQL, and then Rick. So please definitely seek one of us out afterwards, and we'll share more information with you. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Otis Williams. He's got a laundry list of achievements, so I have to pull out my notes here because he has so many, and I don't necessarily want to touch on all of them, but I do want to touch on a few of them. So Otis is the founder of Otis Williams Limitless, which is a development firm. He is a member of the National Speakers Association and has received the highest ranking possible, which less than 8% of the members have, and that is a certified professional speaker. He was named as one of the Business Courier and Morton of Chicago under 40 young business leaders. And he has been honored as a YMCA Black Achiever and has been recognized as an emerging leader by Applaud magazine. But what I'm most impressed with is he was named the 1993 World Champion of Public Speaking by Toastmasters International, and he has outshined 10,000 people to get that title. So without further ado, Otis Williams.
Oh man, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. And I think that's my lovely bride right there. Come on in here, girl. Get yourself on in here. There she is. That's my bride right there, Tanya Williams. Woo-hoo! Yeah, you can sit right here. You can sit right there. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Good. And the rest of you? So very nice, right? So how many Toastmasters do I actually have? Yeah, okay, very nice, very nice. I got a couple out there that I know. Very nice, very nice. Well, I'm excited to be here. Anything that I can give back, when I have an opportunity to give back to Toastmasters, I really like to do that because Toastmasters has been very, very good to me. And so a few years ago, like Michelle said, I was blessed to win the World Championship of Public Speaking, and it was a great, great opportunity, and then a whirlwind of stuff happened around that, and so it was really cool. So as far as I'm concerned, it is by far the leading organization for communication skills and leadership development. They've got primarily 2 tracks. There's a leadership track, so if you're interested in that, like Michelle is on, you can do all kinds of great leadership things, starting at the club, going to, the district, the region, all those types of things. You can just expand and grow and expand and grow. If you're interested in the other part of leadership, which is your ability to communicate effectively and efficiently, then they've got that track also. So it's a great organization to explore, grow, and do all those things. It's a very safe environment for you to get up in front of people, try new things out, and see how it goes. You get immediate feedback. And so the Anderson Club, I know they're going to be, hopefully you guys will be swamped with new members and that good stuff there. All right, so if I ask you, it looks like you guys have something to write with, is that correct? All right, so what I'd like you to do is clear piece of paper or something like that. I would like for you to, on that paper, write down absolutely everything you know up until this point at 6:38 about leadership. So everything you know about leadership up until 6:38 p.m., just start writing. I'll tell you when to stop. Yeah. So everything you know about leadership, just start writing it down. About another 60 seconds. About another 30 seconds. About another 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very nicely done. All right, so tell me some stuff. What do you guys have? What's down? What did you write down?
Adding value.
Adding value. Very nice.
Honest.
Pardon?
Honest.
Honest. Okay.
Motivational.
Motivational.
It's a core value that's looked for in organizations.
Core value that's looked for in organizations. Yes, ma'am.
Visionary.
Visionary.
Lead by example.
Lead by example. These are great. Yes, sir?
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle. Talk to me a little bit more about when you say it's a lifestyle.
So, it's a choice. You have a choice to live a certain type of life. You have a choice. You can be a leader. You can be a follower.
Okay.
I think it's all about, going outside of your comfort zone and doing what's right and making it happen.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. What else? Yes, sir?
You have to be a good listener.
You have to be a good listener. Talk to me a little bit more about listening.
Well, you have to be able to listen to the people around you. If there's an issue, you have to know what it is, understand it, and then you can make a decision about how to rectify it.
Okay. Very nice.
Forward.
Very nice. Yes, sir?
It can be learned, and a lot of leaders teach other people to be leaders and empower them to move forward.
Very nice. Interesting. Very, very nice. Anything else?
Firm and decisive.
Okay. Firm and decisive. Nodding. Trust.
Establish trust, earn it.
Establish trust, earning it.
They make more decisions and generally more rapidly than the average person does.
Yeah, and with less information most of the time. Very nice. Yes, ma'am.
Leaders are comfortable doing the uncomfortable.
Leaders are comfortable doing the uncomfortable. I like that. Very nice. What's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Okay, so here's how this works, Jennifer. I don't pay for those, but here's how it works. I'll give you credit for the up to 3 times that I say it, and then after that, it becomes, no, I'm just kidding. It becomes mine, right? As I said, I'm just playing. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Discipline.
Discipline. Talk to me. Discipline. Elaborate.
I mean, you have to do the same thing over and over in order to be able to move forward.
Okay, got you. Very nice. Very nice. Okay.
Waver.
Yes, ma'am.
Clarity and communicating.
Clarity and communicating. Very nice. Yes, ma'am. Integrity. Yeah, integrity, honesty, those things go through. Very nice. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Invested.
Talk to me a little bit more.
Invested in the company, the goals of the company, invested in the employees under, anybody, invested in everything.
Very nice.
Going with the vision that everyone has,
Yeah.
from the top down, learning about the people you're leading, and so you have credibility and trust from them.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Yes.
Lift as you climb.
Lift as you, man, you are just, man, let me get my pad of paper and start writing this stuff down, Jennifer. Look at, talk to me, lift as you climb. Help a brother out, come on.
You are going to be a much more effective leader.
Okay.
If you are building the people up beneath you to come with you.
Yes.
So that they're going up at the same time.
Very nice.
It is vital.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. Yes, ma'am.
Do things with a positive attitude no matter the situation.
Do things with a positive attitude no matter the situation. Very nice, very nice. You guys are great, great, great. So I love everything you have said. All right, so I'll let this stay there for a couple seconds. So these I'll just pop up here next to Jennifer. Maybe some of that good stuff will just rub off on them and everything. So a couple things. One of the things that I am a firm believer in is leading by example, which you guys talked about. And they've done all kinds of studies in all kinds of institutions and organizations. And two things are at the top of that chart, right? Integrity/honesty is up there, and then competency is up there. And sometimes they switch. Sometimes people want a more competent leader, and then they want integrity, or then they want competence. But one of the things I'm a firm believer in is that leadership is not an easy thing. Can it be learned? Yes, it absolutely can be learned, and it is necessary. And you can see it throughout all of our organizations, our institutions, that most people, one of the things that happens, I did my associate's degree when I was in the military. A little bit of background about me is I was born, put up for adoption, got adopted probably when I was about between 6 and 9 months old. And shortly after that, I don't know my biological parents, but my adopted dad left our family. I have an adopted sister, Diana, and left our family and put our family in a tailspin. And so I ended up growing up in Winton Terrace, which is the projects. And my mother didn't have any high school education. She stopped working, stopped going to school to start working when she was younger to help support the family. It was all hands on deck. So everybody had to bring in, help support the family. And so I remember when I was in high school, my mom told me, because I started working very early, because she came to me one day and she said, son, if you are going to do anything, get any clothes or anything like this moving forward, I can't do it. Yeah, I'm doing everything I can to put food on the table for you and your sister, and you've got to do your own. So I started working. She signed a worker's permit. I started working very early, so great work ethic around there. When I graduated from high school, it's an interesting thing because, you roll with a crew, you got all these people you hang out with. Graduating from high school, people start disappearing, and man, what am I going to do? And one thing I realized is I'm not going to do very much without some kind of education. And so my mother couldn't afford to send me to school. I didn't have any money. So I'm watching the television one day. My uncle comes on, and he says, I'll give you $25,200 for college if you give me 4 years of your life. I said, sold! So I signed up, and I joined the military. Now, here's one of the things that I like to share with you guys. And I'm not sure if how many of you, I don't know how many of you keep a diary, a journal, or anybody do anything like that? All right. So I keep one with me pretty much at all times. Between my notes that I keep on here and the one that I like to write in hard copy, I keep it with me. Salient things that I run across, good quotes that I run across, good ideas, bumper stickers, all those types of things. I like to record them. And Jim Rohn, who was just one of probably the most, one of the most respected personal development guys. He's no longer with us, but he said, if your life is worth living, it's worth recording. If it's worth living, it's worth recording. And so one of my philosophies that I started with very young, and it's around leadership, is whatever you don't face stays in your face. So when I joined the military, Jennifer, you like to say, oh, you're going to write my stuff down. See, no, sorry, I'm just playing. So one of the things that I knew is that I am a firm believer that what happens with most people is most of what we want out of life is on the other side of self-doubt and fear. Yes or yes?
Absolutely.
Most of what we want, see, I didn't give you an out on that one, did I? Most of what we want is on the other side of self-doubt and fear. And so I said, if I'm going to live a courageous life, if I'm going to lead, then those things that make me uncomfortable and make me fearful, I've got to face those. And so when I joined in the military, I had a tremendous fear of heights. And so I said, I want to be an airborne paratrooper. And so, yes, exactly. And so here's what happens, right? So I'm there and I'm signing up and all this kind of stuff. And I said, put me in the line for airborne paratroopers. And the guy says, very nice. I didn't know they got bonuses for doing that. But he said, right this way, young man. So I go over to this line over here. And this line is very short. It's a very short line, right? So I'm like, man, I just get the speed right up. Right? Short line, so I'm signing up. And so after a while, they said, it was backed up. And so they said, well, I'm not sure when you go, but you'll get orders to go, do your training and stuff like that. So I wound up at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which is, that's where the real Army is, baby. You have to have a bag packed there, and you tell your spouse nothing. They say, where are you going? You say, I could tell you, but then I got to kill you. And I don't want to do that. So I get my orders to go to jump school. And jump school, any paratroopers in here? Sorry, okay. Jump school, very nice. Jump school is 3 weeks in the military. So there's ground week, tower week, and jump week. All right. So ground week, you do all your ground exercises, how you learn how to fall, stuff like that. You shoot things at any. Tower week, you start jumping out of tower, so you kind of get used to your harness, your weight in the harness, how it feels to exit, door and things like that. And then jump week, of course, is the week where you get on the plane and jump. So now the school is run by black hats, and they are vicious. They're screaming at you, yelling at you the whole time you're there. A black hat is a trainer, and they wear black hats, and they're just mean as snakes, except for jump week, right? So jump week, they're like, how'd you guys sleep? Everybody okay? And I'm not putting it together. You guys are fast. I'm not putting it together, but we're getting ready to jump out of a perfect good airplane, so they want your mind right? So it's interesting. So we get ready. We go to the hangar to put our suits on. Now, I've never jumped before, right? So I don't know what's going on. But the black hats, once we're in the hangar and we're suiting up, and they says, well, guys, let me make sure all the furniture is in one room. And I'm like, furniture in one room? So I'm putting my harness on, all that kind of stuff. And then we start to exit out to board the plane. So the back of the plane comes down, hot air is blowing and stuff like that. So literally, when you're getting ready to get onto the plane, you could literally walk just like this. It's so much air that's blowing, and then you get on, and of course you do that. So you take your seat on the plane closes the door, taxis down the runway, it's up in the air, and you're off, right? And so, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes into the flight, both doors first jump is on a C-130, so both doors on the C-130 open, and two black hats, trainers, disappear out of the door. So all you see is them hanging out of the doors. You see the heels of their shoes, and you see their knuckles. And what they're looking for is the drop zone. All right? So they're looking out. So then they come back, and they say, 10 minutes. So what I want you guys to do right here, so you're on the plane. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to rock this way, back and forth, and go 10 minutes, okay? 1, 2, 3, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. So you rock like that. So that's to wake you up as if you're asleep, Jennifer. All right. So then they disappear a little bit later. They come back. They say 3 minutes. What do you guys do? 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Then they say, first do the pass, stand up. So 10 on this side, 10 on this side. Now, I'm terrified of heights. Guess what position I get? I get pole position, baby. I get pole position. I'm terrified of heights, and I get pole position. So I'm like, this is not working out the way I had planned. So I got pole position. I'm okay. You got me? Because I told him, he says, you're going to move around. I said, I'm going to move around. I'm going to stand on stuff. I'm going to jump on stuff. We're going to have a blast. So I get pole position, and I'm standing in the door, right? And then I got everything, and there's a light right here. There's the green light, and there's a red light. So you're down like this, and I'm shaking. I'm peeing on myself. The wind is blowing. So you can't tell anything. I'm like, this is all good. It'll be dry by the time I get to the ground. So I'm good. I'm all good, right? So the black hat is over here, right? And he said, son, you're the first one that's going to exit this aircraft. You are going to set the standard for the airborne paratrooper. Now, here's what I need you to do. I need you to watch that light. When that light turns green, you will exit this aircraft. Do you understand? I'm like, yes, Sergeant! In other words, son, when this plane lands, you will not be on it. Am I clear? Yes, Sergeant! So the light turns green. He says, go. Out the door. I'm gone. It's a rush. 250 feet per second. It's just great. First one out of the door. I'm thinking this is the coolest thing since sliced bread, right? Now I look up. Here's the problem. When I look up, 19 other paratroopers are cascading down with open parachutes. My parachute isn't open. And I'm thinking, I'm the first one out the door. If somebody's chute should be open, it should be mine. So now I'm thinking, right, yeah, it's laugh, right? You guys laugh. So now I'm thinking training, right? So they tell you all the stuff and they drill it into you. So they say, you look up, you see what kind of thing you got. So I had what we call a cigarette roll, which means your canopy cannot inflate because the risers, those strings that hold it open, are wrapped around it. All right. So it's a bad day at the office, right? So what they tell you to do is they tell you to bicycle. Now, I'm not a physics major by any stretch of the imagination, but bicycling somehow creates some kind of force where you start turning, right? And so I'm bicycling. And so I start turning. I'm like, this is good. Now, here's the danger of that, though, right? Because I can see the ground and I can see the ambulance coming to where I should be landing. And I'm like, they have no faith. That is not a good sight. So the black hats on the ground are like, faster! And I'm like, if there's anybody with a vested interest in going fast, it's me! I'm giving her all I got, Captain. Right? So I'm now I'm trying to play, oh, this is great. So I'm turning. Now, all of a sudden, my canopy opens, poof! And then I am transported back to the hangar. And put your furniture in one room. Now I absolutely know what that means, right? Because my furniture was everywhere. And so I'm adjusting because all your weight goes right there, guys. So I'm adjusting, I'm trying to make the necessary adjustment. I hit the ground, bam! And I see all of my favorite characters, right? Tweety Bird, all of them. Yosemite Sam, Tasmania, all of them just are going around. So it was interesting. So they're around me, they're pulling me up. How you doing, son? Oh, I'm all right, Sergeant. I'm all right. Are you sure? How many fingers I got up? 17. No, all that kind of stuff. And so I sit up for a while. Are you okay? I'm great. And then the black hat says, very good, son. Way to land, way to land, way to land. Get yourself up. We got another jump today because we were behind. So we made 2 jumps in the first day. So that was my first jump, my first experience, and I'm terrified of heights. So my second jump, I'm in the plane. I'm not the first guy. Comes up, I jump out, it's great. Now watch this. So on my second jump, I have more time to relax, okay? I'm coming down, and this little voice inside of me says this. And it says, look up at the plane. So I look up, and it says, can you get back in the plane? And the answer is, of course not. I can't get back in the plane. And so that voice now says, now you know what commitment is all about. Because one of the principles I believe in around leadership and around changing your life is that you must be committed to it. And that's what I mean. I'm going to finish the story, but that's what I mean about commitment. It is a no holds bar. It is burn the ships, it's no going back. You track with me? And that's what happened, because when I looked up, I could not. And so the voice says, you're committed to hitting the ground with an open chute or not. And that's it. And when I talk about that, when we talk about most people aren't living the lives they want because they are stuck in fear and self-doubt. So we got a lot of people, and some of you guys are actually in this room right now. You're in the door, and you're ready to jump, but for what reason? I can't get you out the door. Can't get you out the door. See, the work that I've been doing for the last 20 years is just that. Because if we can all live out what's in us, if we can live out our potential, if we can do that stuff that's in us, then I'm a firm believer we become leaders for other people. Because here's the deal, you never know who's watching you, and you never know what they're going to do based on watching you. And so if we lead ourselves, for me, leadership starts right here. If I can't lead myself, I have no business leading anyone else. If I can't get myself to the other side of the chasm, I shouldn't be doing anything that has to do with leading anyone anywhere, because sooner or later, I'm going to run into it. And so what we have is this first circle right here is what we call our comfort zone, okay? So in our comfort zone, this is where everything is that we're comfortable, okay? It's my favorite blanket, it's my favorite shoes. How many of you get up in the morning and you have your ritual? You do whatever it is you do, and you just go here, you go to the bath, all those things. We're comfortable doing that, right? If something breaks that ritual, it throws people off. So here we have the comfort zone. That's where everything is, all right? This zone right here is what we call the learning zone. This is what I talk about when I talk with leaders and coach leaders, is that are you willing to put yourself in a position where you must produce? It's easy to talk a good game. It's easy to say all these great things, but sooner or later, somebody's going to want to see you execute. They're going to want to see you do something. And so that learning zone is all about, are you willing to put yourself in a place where you must produce? Where you learn and you actually do. You know, I know people who can do all kinds of things when it comes to knowledge. They know a lot. They know a lot. If you sit down with them and sit across the table from them, I mean, they will just astound you with what they know. But if you say, you know what, let's get up and let's put some of that to action. Now, all those kind of things, because they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. What you got, Jennifer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you feel me? All right. Now, the last zone that you'll see up here, this is my favorite zone, right? And I should have brought my arrow. We should have brought our arrow. This is the last zone. It's called the P zone or the panic zone. All right. This is the zone where I really like to push people, right? And so my wife and I, we've got our company, and we do a lot of what we call extreme transformational work, right? So we do fire walking, glass walking, 6-inch needles through your hand, arrow breaking with your throat, all those things. And here's the reason why, okay? Because based on my philosophy, if what most people want is on the other side of doubt and fear, if I can train you to manage your fear, then the question becomes, what would stop you then? And the answer is what? Nothing, right? So that's the reason we do that type of work, right? Because fear is an emotion, yes or yes? All right. And so there are different things that push that emotion, right? And so if fear is an emotion, it's going to be a consistent emotion no matter what triggers it. Yes or yes? Right. So if I put you in front of an 8 feet bed of razor sharp glass and say, I'd like you to take off your shoes and socks and stockings and walk across there and leave no blood on my glass, and you do that, then the question becomes, if I can do that, if I can walk across a bed of razor sharp glass, what else can I do? And so that repeated exposure to things that will help you train and or manage your fear allows you to then come into corporate America or other places and do some amazing things with your life. Does that make sense? Then you really get to do some amazing things, right? And so I like living life on the edge. And the Whitaker, the first American to summit Mount Everest, said, if you're not living life on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Is that not good? If you're not on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Here's my question to you all. When was the last time that your heart actually raced? When was the last time that your heart actually raced? When was that? I remember I used to do one example when we would take people, because a lot of people have the fear of heights, so we would take them to these garages and we'd have them walk to the edge of just that little bar that's right, and then peer over, and you would see people just shake and panic, and you could just, it's like, and like, man, now you know it feels like to be alive. That's what it feels like. Many of us in this room have not had our heart rate accelerated in a very long time. You know why? Because we've been comfortable. I'm comfortable. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm comfortable. When was the last time you did something for the first time? When was that? When was the last time you did something for the first time? What you got?
Not last week. The week before, I went to a speak, and I went out of my comfort zone and wore something that I normally don't wear.
Very nice. You want to tell us what it was?
It was a dress that she picked out.
Oh, okay. And she looked fabulous, by the way. Thank you very much. Nice. Give her a round of applause. Thank you very much. I saw your hand scoot up. Did your hand scoot up?
I went skydiving in July.
My girl! Woohoo! Yes. How did that feel?
Totally with you.
You were with. How did that feel? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. We laugh and we have fun, but here's what I also know. I've been doing this work for a very, very long time, right? And so one of the things that I do know is that in a room like this, and then I guess we're being like broadcast or something like that, so in a room wherever you might find yourselves, I do know that even while we're laughing and having fun, there are people that are hurting, right? There are people that are in this room that are hurting, right? And one of the things I talk about is that if we struggle, and I'm not sure about you, but I do, right? Struggle, okay? I'm not perfect. and I am glad I'm not. But I find, based on how long I've been doing this stuff, right, that, Jennifer, people have, and they have these wrestling matches in a few areas. Now, a lot of times what you'll find is when people wrestle with things, they wrestle with relationships, and that could be a relationship with themselves, or a relationship with something else, or a relationship with someone else, but it is some type of relationship. People wrestle there. People also wrestle with just a physical nature, their physical self, whether it could be health issues, it could be weight issues, it could be all something like that. They wrestle there. All right. And then people wrestle with finances. They've got stuff that's going on there, and it keeps people going. Right. And they wrestle, and they're wondering, am I going to be able to make it tomorrow? What's the prognosis? What's the diagnosis? What's going to happen? I'm laughing on the outside, but I'm praying on the inside that something happens that can absolutely revolutionize my life and change my life. Here's the thing, right? Doesn't happen unless you get engaged. Doesn't happen unless you get engaged. It is your life. It is your life. It doesn't happen unless you get engaged. You have to get engaged. Now, here's what I find why people don't get engaged, right? It comes down, if we boil it down, what you'll find here's where I end up spending most of my work, right? Because we net it out, business terms, we net it out, we boil it down. Here's where I spend most of my work when I'm working with individuals. I'm not blank enough. Now watch this, right? See if you've ever had any of these conversations, anybody other than me. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not thin enough. Is anybody tracking with me? I'm not enough, right? Now watch this. Because if I ask you, watch this, track with me. If I ask you, what is the covert message of most marketing? What would you tell me it is? You're lacking something. The overt message, of course, is buy our products, buy my. The covert message, right, is you're not enough without our product. And so it is fed to us, right? It's fed to us, and people buy into it, and they believe it. And when I fill in this blank, I'm not blank enough, then I act on it. And it is a vicious self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because I say it, I act it, and then I say, see, I told you. And so it just gets reinforced and reinforced, reinforced and reinforced. And the thing that has to happen is there are ways that you break into that, right? And some of them is, one is you have some kind of near life or near death experience that really shakes you up and says, oh my God, I've got to do something different, right? You have a really, what some people call a spiritual awakening. You have that, right? Or you have somebody in your life who mentors and coaches you and pushes you to that next level, right? There have been people in my life, and there's one right there, who have believed in me when I did not believe in myself, right? So I have to have people surrounding me who believe in me when I don't believe in myself. So in essence, I don't believe in myself around certain things, but I believe in your belief in me. That's what carries me, right? And I hold on to that until my belief catches traction, and then I'm off and running, right? And then she gets to stand back and she says, look at him fly, look at him go. You follow me? That's what begins to happen. And so unless those things are present, we don't do very much else. Most people just exist. That's what they do. They get up, they go to work, they come home, they exist. Seldom do they have moments on a daily basis that causes their heart to race. And sooner or later, it ends. Yes or yes? It ends. Sooner or later it ends. And the question is, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? What happens? What's the legacy that I leave? What is that? What's going to matter? What matters, right? Here's the cool thing. Everyone in this room and everyone in the rooms around that are listening, everyone is significant. And one of the things that I drive people towards is I try to move people from success to significance. I try to help them do that transition, right? Because success, Jennifer, is all about me, right? And I'm not saying there's not a place for it, but success is all about me. It's how much money I can make, what kind of car can I drive, what kind of house can I live in, how many promotions can I get, how many trophies, how many awards. And that's cool, and I think there's a time and there's a place for that. And that feels good. But sooner or later, I want people to move from success to significance. Significance is all about how do I give my gift away to make your life better. Now you become significant. Everyone in here has been gifted with gifts, talents, and abilities. It is your job to figure out how to give them away, right? The gift doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to you. The gift is to give away. That's when you and I become significant, when we give it away. When we give it away. My wife and I went to, when was Veterans Day? When was that? It was that Tuesday. So he had a lot of free stuff, so I was really excited. So I'm like, I want to just get all the free stuff I can, you know. So we go to the movie and we see Fury. This movie, Fury. Anybody see that movie yet with Brad Pitt? Okay, it's a World War II movie. I don't think it's based on a true story, but it's a really, really cool movie. And there's a part in the movie for those of you who want to see it, there's a part in the movie where this captain calls Brad Pitt. He's an NCO and he's leading a tank squadron. And he says, I need you to do something. And he says, I need you to take your team and a couple more, and I need you to go to this location, and I need you to stop some soldiers that are going to be coming this way. And I want you to know, you are the last line of defense. If they get past you, there's no hope for the rest. So he accepts the mission and he goes out. And then, so they're doing everything, all this kind of stuff. And you know, bad things get worse, right? And so their tank, so one of the tracks on the tank breaks. And they were with 4 other tanks. The Germans had a Tiger tank. It kills the rest of them, so they're the last tank. And so they send a scout out. How many, honey? Was it 5 of them? It was 5 of them. So it was 5 of them in the one tank. He sends one of the scouts out to while they try to repair the tank to, see what's coming. And all of a sudden, the guy comes back and he's running. He says they're coming. Now, they're not regular German soldiers. They're SAS, right? So they're SAS equivalent to our special forces. So these aren't just soldiers. These are badass soldiers, right? They're not just soldiers. These are badass soldiers. And it's about 300 of them. And so they're on this road and they come back and everybody's like, well, let's go. Let's grab our stuff and let's get out of here. And he gets out of the tank and he says, I'm not going. And they're like, what are you talking about? There's 300 badass soldiers coming and we got a broken tank and it's 5 of us. And he says, I'm not going. I'm staying. I'm holding my post. And so they're like, dude, I don't get it, right? Now, to some people that may seem crazy as all get out. But that is exactly what I'm talking about. That is significant. Because he's saying, if they pass me, the rest of our buddies are gone. So I'm going to do everything I can to ensure that doesn't happen. So one guy says, I'm with you. Then the other guy says, what the hell? I'm with you. And the other guy says, and so they all join in. and they do a fantastic job. They do a fantastic job. I won't tell you all of what happens. Can't tell you that. They do a fantastic job. There's some death that happens on both sides. But what I sat there and thought about was, most of the time when we focus on success, we want other people to notice it. We want other people to see it. We want other people to applaud. We want other people to cheer. Here are 5 guys in World War II who probably will never be remembered because nobody's alive to tell the story. And they're saying, I'm holding right here. Right here. Doesn't matter. Right here. Where's that line for you? Where's the line for you? Where's the line that says, you know what? Doesn't matter if anybody sees me or not. This I'm going to accomplish. This I'm going to do because this matters. This matters. This matters. Had news earlier this week. Guy that was one of my mentors that he didn't know was my mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe. He's a leadership guru, was a leadership guru. He boards a plane in the Bahamas. He's getting ready to fly just a little bit, to another little area to his leadership conference, right? And he dies. Dies. You're nodding your head, so you were familiar with it? Yes. Yeah, he dies. Yeah. Yeah, and he dies.
He was her mentor.
Yeah. 60 years old. Left us. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no promises. There's none. There's no promises. I've never seen a calendar with tomorrow on it. I've never seen that. I've never seen that. I've never seen a calendar with tomorrow on it. Right? I know that there are things in you, in your gut. I know it's there because I know who you are, right? And I know it's right in there. It's right in there. And it stirs. I know it does. And I know some of you think about it more than others, but it's there. My push is, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? I'm going to give you one last thing, and then I guess, I don't know, did we build in questions or? Okay, all right. So one of the things I want to give you is an acronym, all right? And the acronym is GREAT, all right? And so the G stands for goals. So what are they? What are they? What is it? And I'm not saying you have to have 5 goals, 10 goals, 7 goals. I'm not on that track at all. I'm saying if you've got one goal that is significant, your life can change. Just one. Just one. I don't need you to fight for 5, 10, or 15. I need you to fight for one. Just one. What is that one? And I like to call it that goal that just would take your life to the next level. What is that one? Because if I get that one, that's the one, right? So the G stands for goals. The R stands for results, right? We live in a results-driven world, right? If you're going to lead, you have to show results, right? You know? When you guys make those connections with carriers and all that kind of stuff and trying to move and shake and get people to buy and move and take it's results driven, is it not? It's results driven. So I've got to see the results. They've got to be there because that says you're serious. The results when I can see, because here's the thing, right? When I can see the results, then I know how to get coached, right? I know to speed up, to slow down. I know to turn left. I know to turn right. I know to go straight. I know to go back because I've got some results. Something has shown up. I've had a goal. Something's shown up so I can see it. Now I can coach from there. These are the results that you're getting right now. So we need to make this adjustment. We need to make that adjustment. We need to listen a little bit more. We need to put more value in this, right? Or whatever that is. That's what happens, right? So the E is for excellence. This is the one where most people slack, right? Dr. Martin Luther King said if a man has been called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets like Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say that here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. The question is, the work that you do, would you sign your name to it? There are many people who turn in work that they wouldn't sign their name to because it's not done with excellence. But that's the key. And I remember Oprah talked about, she says, excellence is the antidote to all of those isms. Sexism, racism, classism. If you start to perform at a level of excellence, it cannot be denied. It just can't. Right? We live in a time where people want the best. And they don't care if the best shows up black, brown, blue, if it's in a wheelchair, if it's wearing a skirt, if it has locks or not. Because it's so competitive, I need the best. How that shows up, I'm going to take it. Excellence is the best. All right. The A, you guys will probably figure that one out, is action. Right? It's action. Could be attitude. But it's action. Because sooner or later, right, you got to do something. I know a lot of people who got great plans. I know a lot of people with great plans. They don't act. A lot of people with great plans. They don't act. Don't act. Action has got to be there. You've got to take it. And here's the thing. People say, well, what if I take action and it doesn't work? Then we make adjustments, right? Exactly. Then we make adjustments. That was the start of my world championship speech. Are you going to fail 10,000 times? All that kind of crap. And it was like, no. And as I said, I'm going to get 10,000 different ways the light doesn't work. So that means I'm closer to it, right? And then the last one, ladies and gents, is time. Time is a currency. Yes or yes? Absolutely. Time is a currency. And if you really want to know, watch this. This is like one of those basic bootstrap types of things. If you want to know what's important to a person, what do you think? How could you tell? Exactly. Two things that give people away. If you want to know what's important to people, you watch two things. How they spend their time and how they spend their money will tell you volumes about them. Why so? Why? Because I've got limited of both of those. There's only 24 hours in a day, right? Okay, so there's only 24 hours in a day, and everybody gets that. So that's a really cool thing about time. But this one is I've got limited amounts of that also. And so what happens is these two resources I value. And so wherever I'm placing those tells you what I value, right? If I say I love my wife and I don't spend time with my wife, something's wrong. If I say I love my children and I don't spend time with my children, something's wrong. If I say I love my dream and I don't spend time with my dream, something's wrong, right? It just is. We can talk about it. We can try to rationalize it away. But all I got to do is watch how you spend your time and how you spend your money. I wrestled, and I told my wife this. When I was coming over here, I wrestled with what to talk with you guys about. I really did. Because I got some feedback on some stuff to talk about, and I was like, yeah, that's good. And then I said, well, I got to do what I do. I got to do what I do. This is what I do. This is the kind of work that I love to do, right? And I'm a little low key because I usually push really hard, but I don't know you guys that well. So, and it's free. I'm doing this for free. So, but anyway, no, I'm just kidding. It's amazing. I mean, people do pay me to kick them in the butt, and then that's what I love. Can you imagine kicking somebody's butt and getting paid to do it? I'm like, yes, it doesn't get much better than that. But anyway, so those are other things, right? Yeah, exactly. Black hats. Yeah. So that's my gift to you guys, and I am open. Am I? Oh, okay. So I'm open for questions, if that's okay. Yes.
Otis, you gave us a lot to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Action was one of the items. What's the suggested first next step coming out of here to go make progress on all these things you just talked about?
For me, it's the decision is, what do you want? So the first thing is to decide. Is to decide this, right? That's the first thing. And I'll even take the S off of it, all right? So we'll just take the S. The first thing is, what is that, right? Because I've got to have direct
Success or significance?
It's wherever you are, right? I would not judge that because I have no problem with it being towards success, because that's needed also. For example, let me give you a quick little story. Before I won the World Championship of Public Speaking, I've always loved speaking, and I have this formula that I still use today. As a matter of fact, is she? There she is, right there. Would you tell that story you just told me out there? Would you tell them?
How to give a speech. He has to break down whatever portion, no matter if it's a 3-minute speech or a 3-hour. There's a certain percentage for the opening, each point, and the closing, and you stick within that, and you'll get your points.
Yeah, and so I've had this love affair with this body of oral communication all my life. And I would try to tell people and people say, you don't know what you're talking about, be quiet, all that kind of stuff, go somewhere else. The moment I won the World Championship, people started hiring me to speech coach and all those kind of things, and I learned a very valuable leadership lesson. You must go first. You must go first. And then it got reinforced when I was in the military and doing Special Forces Ranger stuff, right? All right. So Rangers lead the way. We don't point. We go and then follow me, right? And so that was amazing. And so part of being significant is having been successful. So people can say, you know what? He's validated. She's validated, right? So people can see that transition. So I have no problem with success. That's great, you know. My ultimate aim is to move you is to have you to move to significance. But if we start with success, that's a great place to start as well. Yeah. So that first thing is to identify, what is that? What's the thing that really causes my heart to get excited about? What is that? And then move. First step. It could be simple as doing a research in it. It could be as simple as buying a book. It could be as simple as making a phone call. It could be as simple as making a connection. It could be as simple as calling somebody. Anything like that. But I need to know what it is. What's the target? Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
What do you do now that still gets your heart racing?
My heart is racing right now because I'm in process of finishing my dissertation for my doctorate, and it is kicking my butt. And the reason it's kicking my butt, and I've had this conversation with my wife, right? She's a wonderful coach, so she coaches me, is because no matter how much success I have, and it gets traced back to me being adopted, and I found out that I was adopted by accident. And so part of the, I guess what we call remnant, or the residue that's still in me, that's still there, that I still fight and wrestle with, is that while I know it intellectually that the reason my biological mother gave me away because she actually did love me, so she loved me enough to give me away, right? The part of the residue is that if the woman who gave me life gave me away, what's wrong with me? You follow me? And so I have found myself in certain situations trying to prove my worth, right? And so that wrestles against I'm not good enough. And so I'm in this really funky place right now that my wife is coaching me out of, and she's doing a very good job, that I've identified that, you know what, I know intellectually I can do it, but there's a part of me that says, dude, you're not smart enough. There's this part of me, I have no pretense. I'm just being honest with you guys, right? I don't have all my stuff together in every area, right? I don't, right? I wouldn't lie to you. So I'm wrestling with this part that says, dude, you're not that smart to have and so my wife is speaking in my ear, yes, you are, yes, you are, yes, you are, yes, you are. And it's catching hold and I'm gaining traction, right? So my first step is I've got to call. This is wild because now I'm speaking it out. So I know what's going to happen when I get home. But so my first step is I've got to call my dissertation chair to get a new plan so I can graduate by May. So that will be my first step if we talk about that. Does that make sense? Yeah. But it wrestles with me, right? And I think my wife knew this was going on inside of me, but she's very, very patient with me and coaches me really, really well. Yeah. Yes, sir.
In light of that, what tips can you give us that would help us protect our confidence, so to speak?
The protection of your confidence comes from doing the thing you think you cannot do. Yeah. And here's a part that I've learned and I wrestle with and I struggle with. Now watch this. Just track with me on this. If something is worth doing, it is worth doing badly at first.
Yeah.
If something is worth doing, it is worth doing badly at first. That's a struggle for me, and you can ask my wife. Because of my adoption, I think in order for you to like, love, accept, want to be with me, I've got to be perfect, right? So now watch this. If something is worth doing, it's worth doing badly at first. Sometimes I don't want to do the badly because I think I got to be perfect. I got to hit the ball over the fence the first time. That's my junk. That's the stuff I got to deal with because nobody's asking me to do that. That's self-imposed, right? But I do know when I start just swinging and hitting it and I build up that confidence and I keep going, and then you learn a whole lot of things, right? I learn how to identify the pitch. I learn how to do and all that kind of stuff, and then the ball gets cracking. And then I'm off and running, right? And then when I'm off and running, you can ask my wife, you got to get out of the way, right? But I got to get up. I got to get up and I've got to build that momentum and I got to build that speed. And you guys know this. I can put a little block of wood on a train in front of a train, right? And it'll stop it, right? Little block of wood, this foam put on the train track right in front of that wheel, that train's not going to move. But if that train is built up speed and I do that, it'll tear this thing apart. So I've got to get my momentum going, right? Yeah. Yes, sir.
What made you want to become a professional speaker and life coach?
I had it, well, to allow you in a little bit more is I didn't choose this. I didn't choose it. It chose me. Right? And what I tell people is you cannot be in X business. X business has to be in you. Huge difference. Huge difference, right? Because when it's in you, I give it everything I have, right? I believe God called me to what I do. And so I just do it. I believe I'm gifted to a certain point, but I have to work my butt off to develop. You know, everybody in this room is gifted, but we got to work to shine it, right? we gotta work to make it work. We gotta work to shine it so that it starts shining, right? I had one guy, he told me, and he said, Otis, I really like you, and because I like you, I'm gonna tell you something you might not like. I was like, wow. And he says, I don't know what it is. Okay, and this was years ago. He says, I don't know why you are holding back. But you, my friend, you've got to find more places to give your gift away. He says, I don't know why you're holding back. You've got everything you need. You've got to find more places to give your gift away. You've got to give it away. Many of us are holding back. Many people in this room are holding back. Anything else? Yes, sir.
All right, so today, after you won the world champion of public speaking,
Mm-hmm.
what was your life after that? How it changed?
That is amazing. It's when you talk about, people will say, it seems trite when when they say, man, a minute or a second or something can change your life. It's for real. My life, the very next day was absolutely crazy. I had invitations to get on planes and go literally all around the world. And I took some of those opportunities. And then they did these huge spreads and papers around the country and stuff like that. And so then that took off. And it was interesting because I had people who start saying, hey, can you come here and speak? And then they'd say, how much you charge? I'm like, I don't know, but I'll get back with you, because this has got to be a good thing, right? And so then I'd go and speak, and people say, do you train? And as a budding entrepreneur, if somebody says, do you train on this? Your answer is yes. And then you go figure out how to do it later, right? And so my business grew in concentric circles, right? So it started out speaking, then it started out training on what I spoke about, then it went into weekend trainings, and then it went into coaching and mentoring and stuff like that, and then books and all that kind of stuff. But it changed. Now, but think about it. It's just like, I'm a huge football fan, right? Huge football fan. And unfortunately, I actually like the Bengals. I love the Bengals. But yeah, thanks. Yes. But think about it, right? A second too fast, a second too slow, you don't catch the ball. Just think about this. Like, I'm at Eastgate. I'm getting ready to turn on to, I can't think, one of the streets. But think about this. What if I turn a second too fast and I don't see the car that's coming? My life changes just like that. Just like that, right? And many of you have had those experiences. Man, if I would have just like stopped, turned around, and then went, certain things wouldn't have happened. Isn't life amazing? And that's why there's no guarantees. So that's why I tell this beautiful thing I love her every single chance I get. And I kiss all on her. She's my baby. She's my baby, right? Because I want her to know that. I want her to know. Yep.
How long, I have two questions. How
Sure.
long did it take for you after you went into the military,
Mm-hmm.
after high school, and then how did you find your calling whenever you got out? Like, what was it like? Did you have something planned already? Did you already know then?
Yeah.
Or was it something that you just kind of stumbled upon?
Gotcha.
Kyle, you should give up too that you were in the Marines before you came
Oh,
here.
cool, good. Yeah, well, here's what happens. I go into the military. Now, the military is extremely easy for me because it's shut up and do what you're told, right? I grew up with that with my mom, so I'm like, this is great. I don't have any problem with any of this, right? You know? And so I just like, they say shit. I'm like, man, my mom trained me for this. But here's what happens. I go to Germany, and to show you how life works, I go to Germany, and I went to the E5 board at Fort Bragg. So I get to Germany, and about a month after there, I make the cutoff score. So I get my stripes and everything, and then I get in charge of a team of soldiers. And so I start my leadership career and all that kind of stuff. And we used to hold these Monday morning motivational meetings, right? I'd get out what we had to do for that week, right? And I'd get the troops charged about that. You do this, stuff like that. And so what happened was that actually began to grow. And so I had other sections they said, I heard you do this Monday morning motivation. I said, it's just for my soldiers. No, we want to come in. So I had other sergeants bring their teams in. And finally, I'm speaking to our entire base, right? And so our company commander says, I want you to speak at the prayer breakfast. And I'm like, okay, no problem. So I speak at the prayer breakfast, and then people are like, what church do you have? I don't have a church. I don't have anything, right? I don't just anything. And so as I'm leaving Germany, I'm thinking, well, I need something to read on the ride home. And I go to the bookstore, and there's a book, and I still have the exact copy. There's a book called Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is, How to Make a Fortune from Public Speaking. So I buy the book, right? And it talks about Toastmasters, and it talks about NSA, the National Speakers Association. So I get stateside, and I check out NSA. It's for professional speakers. I'm not a professional speaker. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but Toastmasters accepted anybody. So I went to Toastmasters, right? And so I joined Toastmasters, and that's how it happened for me. And it's interesting, right? Because when I won, nobody had won the championship on their first time. So when I started down the track, I had my own club members trying to talk me out of competing. Oh, slow down, you're too excited, you know, we don't want you to get overzealous and stuff like this because nobody wins on their first time. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's other people. You haven't seen me, but that's okay. And so and I can tell you when it switched. After the district competition, then everybody was like, he can do it. I was like, I've been telling y'all that a long time. But anyway, and so that's what happened. So that's how it happened. It was just fun. Because there's not a career path that says I want to speak or coach or anything like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just, that's why I said it was, for me, it was God inspired. I kind of fell into it. Yeah. Anything else?
I love you, man.
I love you too, man. I love you too, man. Yeah.
This is the first time I've seen your message. It's fantastic. It's right on point.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate you guys for having me. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to turn it over.
Yeah, so we have a raffle. Matt, do you mind grabbing that fishbowl off that table? Yeah. And you know, one of the things that I wanted to bring up that we're going to have you pick.
Oh, okay.
That came to mind when you were speaking is Ken Oaks, who is the owner of TQL, spoke at our Leadership Saturday a couple months ago. And the three things that he really said to him, what shows what a leadership is lead by example, be the go-to person, and educate yourself. So take control of it, go out and do these things outside of your working environment. Toastmasters is a fantastic way to do that.
It is a
so
fantastic
I have
way.
my pitch here.
Yeah.
You do. So
it's a fantastic way to do
We
that.
do have a meeting coming up this Saturday. Perfect opportunity, 9 a.m., because everybody likes to spend Saturday morning at Toastmasters. So, definitely, I encourage all of you guys to come out and visit us. It's a great time. Just check us out. No pressure, but we welcome you.
Yeah. And here's a little thing that when you said that, and you said 9 a.m., some people grumble, but here's the thing I firmly believe in is that successful people do what failures won't. And while most people say, I don't want to get up at 9 a.m., the successful people say, I'm going to get up at 9 a.m.
And it's only one Saturday.
It's only one Saturday a month. Yeah.
Is it a set schedule or like every second Saturday or something?
It's the third Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. We meet at the Anderson Community Television Studio in the lower level of the community center, 7855 Mile Road. We also meet the first Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. So you can come both meetings. Sometimes we just have Thursday goers, sometimes we have Saturday goers, but please come check us out. It's for less than $10 a month, it is probably one of the best investments you'll ever make.
Here.
So on behalf of us, this is for you.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And then if you want
That's very nice.
So Otis was kind enough to donate one of his books, and then we have some other great inspirational giveaways. So you want to pull a name?
I sure will.
Who the big winner is?
Ta-da! Me! That's my picture. No. Oh, no, I'm just...
Ryan Bramer?
All right, my man. Double? Okay.
I have no idea what these are. Kara Brothers.
Speaking this morning Jerry Moles, focus the other one. Okay. For your which is which.
Jeff Lith. All right.
All right. All right. Get a lady out of here. I think I got one.
Amanda Schinkel?
Is it Amanda Schinkel? Here, here. Oh, Bob Proctor. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Jessica Bailey.
Final one, final one.
Kyle Danning?
There he is, my man. All right. Awesome.
Again, thank you. And guys, feel free to hang out. There's several Toastmasters here if you want to find out information about us.
Yeah.
We welcome you on Saturday.
There's a-
I'm sorry. If you have an opportunity to fill out the feedback, which is the blue form, that would be greatly appreciated. Set it out on the desk as you exit.
Yeah. And I think my wife came late, and she brought some of the books that we donated. So if you want any of those, that's got all of my speaking secrets and tips in there, literally from what I did to World Championship. We've got those with us. And so those are available. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, they're 20 bucks. We reduced them to 20 bucks. Yep. That's all right. Thank you very much for having me. That was awesome. Awesome. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. All right. Oh man. Competent communication. So do you have your CTM already?
No, I just got started.
You just got started? Oh, sweet, man. Sweet. What's your name?
My name's Jeff.
Jeff. With a J? Or, okay. Yeah.
Make sure I call it.
All right, man.
Nope.